In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how I received my Section 8 voucher, how I got on the Housing Choice Voucher Program. I'm also going to share all of the steps that I've taken from going from being on public housing or low income housing to actually receiving a Section 8 voucher. And yeah, so I didn't start out with a Section 8 voucher. I was about 20 something years old. I was working for Prince George's County Public School. I had like a little boyfriend or whatever at the time, and I ended up getting pregnant. I was still living with my grandmother. In my mind, I was just like, I have to try to find my own place. But I knew that my income wasn't a lot. So I didn't even know nothing about like public housing, and I didn't know nothing about none of these programs. I got on the good old internet. Where I live at, the lists, they weren't like open or they weren't accepting applications or whatever. I was like, well, let me just look in all of the surrounding counties. You ended up finding what was like a public housing apartment complex. And they basically went by your, they went by your income. But the only difference is you don't have the option to say, oh, I want to live here, or I want to live in this city, or I want to live there. You have to live within their housing apartments. So it may be like just one set of apartments or townhomes, or however the establishment is made, or it might be a section here and then they might have another location close by or something like that. You wouldn't be able to be on that program and just move wherever you want, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I don't have to draw it all out like that. So I ended up putting my name on a waiting list. So I put my name on a waiting list, but the turnaround time for that particular county was six to 12 months or something like that. Now, some of the other ones that I applied for, it was like indefinite. Like they didn't say, they just was like, we'll let you know when the availability come. I ended up getting a call back. And they told me, yeah, we're located in this county, and we've accepted you. So I went to their rental office. Before I signed the paperwork, I'm jumping ahead. Before I signed the paperwork, someone called me. They actually told me they had called me and I didn't respond back, and they were actually about to move forward with picking somebody else. But the lady said something told her to call me, or they left me a message and I called back. I don't remember, but somehow I got onto the phone with them. Told me your security deposit is going to be out. I believe it was $129, y'all. I was working at the time. I was working at the school. So, I had the money to pay the security deposits. I know y'all probably like, girl, just tell us how you got the voucher. Let me tell my story. I had to wait for my next paycheck because at that time in my life, I wasn't like, taking care of my finances where I just had money like saved up or whatever. The deposit and the first month's rent. So my first month's rent was like $300 and something at the time. $362, I think. $362 or $364 at the time. And I felt like that was so much money. But at the same time, it's like, it's people out here that's paying so much more. But, I'm young at this time, so this is like my first place by myself and everything like this. It was like about 40 minutes to an hour away from where I had grew up. Lived there for 5 years, and then I heard another public housing location that was actually closer. It was back in the community where I had basically grew up and where all my friends were. And I was also scared to take the chance because I had heard previously that those specific set of apartments, they were getting like shut down. Like one side had already got shut down. It was like the total opposite, like where I was living at before. Like it was like smelling like it was a dead rat in my house. Like when I first moved in there, I couldn't figure out. I thought it was a body in the wall. What's going on? Like all those little nets and stuff that be coming around. Like when I moved in, it was like all these nets just coming out of the sink, like the drains and everything like that. And oh my goodness, it was so crazy. Like a friend of mine, he was like, man, we got to get to the bottom of the smell, man. We be having little card parties and stuff, and we can't, you know what I'm saying, have people coming over here and it smell like a dead rat. And I'm like, yeah, we cannot. So He pulls the refrigerator out, y'all. Do y'all know it was a dead mouse? You know the back of the fan where the motor like kicks on or whatever. It was a dead mouse caught up in it. I don't know how long the mouse was dead. Now keep in mind, I just moved in there, so the mouse was there when I moved there. Say all of this to say, eventually the apartments that I was staying in, they got condemned. Basically, we got letters saying that the apartments were condemned and that we were all going to receive Section 8 vouchers, and we had 60 days to find a landlord, to find a place to move. If we did not find a place to move within that time period, our voucher could be like revoked, like taken back. But they did say in certain circumstances that they would be able to give you an extension. Took us to this really big meeting. It was at a church. I remember it was at a church, a local church up the street, and we all sat there and they explained the process to us, and they told us that, you know what I'm saying, they told us that, you know, the guidelines, the rules, and stuff like that. And basically, we went on to have a Section 8 voucher. Some of the stuff that I know about Section 8 from being on the program, especially in the state that I'm in Maryland. Like, some people think that Section 8 is like permanent, like you just gonna be on the program, like you just taking all the government's money and everything like that. And it's not like that. Like, they have rules and regulations that you have to follow. You have to be compliant. You're supposed to keep even your unit, like your unit is supposed to be kept clean. You gotta stay within this state for a year, and then after a year we can port our voucher out. And like a port is like you can take your voucher and you can move to another state if that state is accepting port-ins at the time. You would fill out a packet like at your housing authority. So you would, you know, contact that housing authority yourself to contact them. Hey, are you accepting port-ins? You know, do your research about where it is that you're moving. Other things about the program, like you can't do no, you know, get into like fights with people. You can't get kicked out. You can't, if you gotta pay your utilities. Like if your utilities get cut off, you know, like how they come and do a disconnection. If your utilities get cut off, they could make you move from the program. I also wanted to share with you guys how I almost got kicked off the program. It was the first apartment I had moved to when I first got my Section 8 voucher. My oldest child, he was about 9 years old. A family member of mine had bought a bike for him and delivered it to the wrong Walmart. So while he was at school, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick up the bike and I'll be back within more than enough time before he gets home from school. The Pope was in town, so the traffic was like really, really bad. Like we were in traffic for like 2 hours. So he ends up getting home from school before I got home. He had a key or whatever, but he knew that in the event that I'm not home, for whatever reason, you're not supposed to go outside. You know what I'm saying? So you're supposed to come in the house, lock up, you know, get you something to eat or whatever. You know, what ended up happening is he went outside, he came home or whatever. He ended up taking the next door neighbors, I forget their little names. They burned the playground down, y'all. Burnt the playground down. And I find out they got him in the rental office. The police there. The fire people there. The rental office there. They mad. Everybody mad. You know what I'm saying? My son basically he's sticking with the same story. He's sticking with the same story. Yeah, you know, we was playing with the candy paper. We lit it on fire. It you know, burnt up. You know, he was basically saying that the other kids were saying no. It's him. It was my son or whatever. They were saying like he was the only one that did it. He was the only one that had something to do with it. But they kept going back interrogating the kids for a long period of time or whatever. So eventually the police came back and they was like, your child's story is staying consistent. You know what I'm saying? But the other two, their story keeps changing or whatever. So he was like, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to file no charges or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? He was like, but the rental office do want y'all. The rental office is evicting y'all. And he said the rental office is evicting y'all. and they're gonna put him in a program to teach him about fire safety and everything like that. Like, they was trying to support us the best way they can. They never came through with the class for the fire safety. They took my email, said they was gonna email me. They never emailed me though. But that actually led to us becoming homeless and living in our car for a period of time. That is how I got on the Section 8 voucher. It's much more to my story because I lived in a couple of more houses other than that. But if you guys like this story time video, I hope it was informative on how, you know, to get on the Section 8 program. I probably should elaborate more before I close the video out because I really didn't cover it. I just told y'all. But so what you would have to do is you would have to go to your local housing authority, the public housing, or you want to apply for a Section 8 voucher. If you want a Section 8 voucher, you apply for a Section 8 voucher. That's where you can move to private landlords. You can move to like different places you want to move to. And then public housing, remember, that's within the little, it might be like an apartment complex or some townhomes. It's like their own little private development. You can apply for both programs at the same time, but you can't be on both of the programs. So say you apply for Section 8 and you apply for public housing and you get approved for both programs. You can't live here and then also have a Section 8 voucher there. You can only be on one program. That will get you kicked off the program, like if you try to do something like that. They're going to want to know information like your income, who gonna be living there with you, social security, birth certificate, all that type of stuff, your income, bank accounts, how much money you got in your bank account, if you have any assets. They're gonna want to know much information like what kind of car you drive, all kind of stuff. But submit the application now. A lot of states have a high need for housing, so there's going to be a waiting list. You will be put on the waiting list, and then you would wait until they call you back. Make sure that all your information is updated because they may send you something in the mail to say, hey, we've selected you. But if you've moved and you haven't updated your address with the housing authority, you can miss out. Make sure that you keep your information updated if you apply. Now, some count, like I applied in one housing authority, and that was, my son was I was pregnant with my oldest child. That was almost 20 years ago. I have not heard anything from that housing authority. So it's not one set way that you can get a voucher or get housing. You know what I'm saying? So if your local housing authority, you go to them and they say, oh, it's a waiting list. The waiting list is 5 to 10 years. Don't get discouraged. Go to a surrounding county. Go to somewhere that's far. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? You can apply for a Section 8 voucher. Say you say Florida, you live upstate, you live like in New York, you know what I'm saying? But Florida's list is open. You can apply for in Florida or whatever. You might not want to move to Florida. You might want to be, oh, I live in New York, I only know people in New York. No, you move to Florida, you live there for a year, and then you can port your voucher back to New York if they're accepting it, or you can port your voucher somewhere else. You cannot have somebody living in your house that's not on your lease. You're not supposed to have no living boyfriends. As you can see, it's no booze up in here. You may want to be my boo till you put a ring on it. You not being up in here, because you're not gonna make me lose my place where I have to live and you ain't got a place for me. So just shop around, because that's how I got on the program. I got on the program through a loophole. I got a Section 8 voucher because my apartments got condemned and they offered us a voucher because they couldn't just put us out on the streets. You know, I applied for Section 8 the other way, like the way that they say, oh, apply, put you on the waiting list, but I didn't settle for that. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, nah, I need housing. I'm about to have this baby. My family wasn't kicking me out. I said, I don't want to be in here with my family. I want to venture out on my own. So yeah, that is the story of how I got my Section 8 voucher and, you know, living on public housing or whatever. Like my little story. There's a little bit more to my story leading up until I got here. If you guys want to hear more about my story, just leave me a comment below and let me know. If there was a question that I did not answer that you did want to know, please leave it in the comments below. You guys can leave questions about Section 8 in the comments below, and I will go and research online what information that I can come up with, and then come back to you guys with a more informative video. But I just wanted to share with you guys how I got on Section 8 and what little bit of information that I do know. Thanks again for taking the time to watch my video. I love you guys. I did want to give a special shout out to everybody who watched my townhouse tour, my Section 8 tour. Like, y'all show so much love on that video. Thank you so much. Some people do be trying to hate, some people be trolling, but some people, I guess, want to, you know, feel like they're helping you or whatever. It's open to constructive criticism. You know, my feelings doesn't get hurt when people say certain things. Oh, your walls need to be cleaned, or your carpet's messed up or something like that, because the walls do need to be cleaned and the carpet is messed up, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm just one mom trying to make it do what it do. I just appreciate you guys, and I love the support. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be bringing you guys more content, not just Section 8 related stuff. I'm going to take you guys on some grocery hauls, show you guys how I spend my food stamps, and also how I try to market my business so that I can get more hair clients. And I also got a job interview for working at a school. I did put in some job applications, so I do have a job interview on Wednesday. So please cross your fingers for me, guys. Send me positive affirmations in the comments. Bills still have to be paid, so we gotta make it do what it do. I love y'all guys, and I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.